Startup grind.
So I'm going to invite a great friend, actually a guy that copied some of my work during my school years. Zviki, the floor is yours.
You will say it forever. It's like one time I copied a job, one work, that was it.
Yeah,
all the tasks that you copied from me,
Keep
you're
saying
not
that.
saying. Yeah.
Keep saying that. So how is it like to come back?
It's always fun to come back to Coleman. Great memories, lots of work, lots of white nights we had here together. I think more than 4 years of lots of hard work. Eventually, it only began after those 4 years, but I learned a lot here. So it's always fun to come back.
So tell us a little bit about your personal background, like where you grew up and stuff.
From when I grew up, Bat Yam, I was a beach geek, basically. I grew up 2 minutes walk from the beach, so every morning I had that challenge with myself, am I going to school or to the beach? I chose school very few times, and most of the times I choose the beach. I had a very, very poor diploma at high school because of that. And a geek, basically my life was beach computers, and eventually we grew up, we did our high school diploma, then our B Science as an engineer while I was at the army, so it was kind of parallel, like every Israeli citizen. I went to the army, into a technology division in the army, so I learned a lot of technology over there while doing my B Science. And then it was fun. I was kind of an ambitious young man after, like, let's say the age of 21, and I decided, I remember my wife keeps telling that to me. She's reminding me that at the age of 21, when I met her the first time, I told her that what are my plans, and it was, I'm going to invest 10 years in doing everything, every position in high-tech companies in order to make sure that by the age of 30 I will be able to CEO a company while knowing to deep dive into every part of the business. So this is what I did. I started in a local system integrated. I did technical support. I did engineering. I was a developer. Moved to sales, did marketing, managed marketing at Nice Systems, did product management, and then wanted to start my MBA. And this is where I met Daphna. And Daphna is the reason that I joined Coleman. And this is where everything you are. You know that. You don't remember that. Yeah. You're in charge. You're to blame. That's basically it until we started to build our company that actually started in this building next to this one.
So for those of us who don't know, what's Litico? What is it?
Litico is different than what we had back then when we started Novus. I'll tell everybody, it's like we sat here at Coleman after Daphna convinced me to join. She didn't need to convince me, just speaking with Daphna, it was inspiring, seriously, and I'm not inspired so easily. Hardly ever inspired. And we joined this place in a notion that we are going to build a real company, and that was kind of it wasn't a notion back then. I said I'm not going to join a class, because to have another class to get straight A's, it's easy because you're a student and you're smart and you go to class. It's not that difficult, but let's do something real over here, and real meaning let's end up with an company after we end up doing those 6 months of Novus. So we thought about an idea, and after long years in a realm of call center customer experience worldwide, we found out that there is a huge problem. Now people don't realize that, but most of the communication between businesses and people around the world are over the voice channel. We call our telecommunication provider, we call our bank, our loan generator, we call so many organizations, and it doesn't make sense for the new generation that you can only speak via voice. Like everybody used to WhatsApp. You know? When I WhatsApp with my mom and I'm in the US and in a business trip and I'm telling her, Mom, look, it snows here. I'm just moving from the voice to the chat and I'm sending a photo. And if I need to send her something else, I can do that. It's like the world is different from a consumer perspective. And still when you're communicating with business, it's voice. And what we wanted to do is to provide that human-to-human interaction that we have with our friends and family to bring it to business. And this is why we set up Lightico. We built a platform that enables every organization on the planet, mainly focusing on telecommunication and financial services in the US and the UK, because these are the main markets and the most innovative ones and the ones that pay the most for the service. So this is why we went there. And we provide a platform to add to actually, while on a conversation with a business, we can do everything. We can the customer can get images and videos of the offering that he wants to buy. He can send over all the documentation that he needs in order to perform the purchase. He can sign the documents, complete payments, everything while on the phone. Usually it takes between 6 and 8 days to get a loan. With Lightico it takes 5 minutes because you can do all the tedious tasks on the spot instead on multiple calls. That in high level what Lightico is.
And how did you come up with this idea? Seriously, because I remember when we were together in the incubator, then you just, you came already with this idea. So it had to start somewhere.
It's like in the last 10 days, I can say 10 days. In the last 10 years before we came there, I was in this business. Me and my co-founder, one of the co-founders, Justin, we used to work together a lot of time. He's from the dev side, I'm from the marketing sales side. And as part of our journey, we saw lots of requirements to do more than just voice. And we saw organizations using very poor technology in order to complete those tasks, and it completely hurt their business, and the customer experience was horrible. But there wasn't any technology out there that can provide a solution to that, because smartphone didn't exist back then. We had Nokia, the one with the snake. And what we did is waited. We had this idea for 4 or 5 years, but if we wanted to provide a solution to the world, it was too early because the world wasn't ready for that technology-wise. So we waited for the right opportunity. We built the foundations. And when it was the right time, we look at the most innovative technologies back then. It was HTML5, CSS on top of smartphone in a web only. So it will be super easy to deploy. Customer doesn't need to download anything because there's no need for an app. It's supported on any device. In the last 2 years, back then it wasn't supported on 70% of the devices. So we waited for the right time to launch. And that's when we did it. So we got that idea from lots of years doing business and thinking about the problems, not thinking about how we go through our working days, opening our eyes.
And then where are you at right now with your company?
It's so it's kind of the trip. So after we finished Novus, it wasn't still too early, and we were young entrepreneurs. First company that we are starting, so it's hard to raise money. So I started reading. It's like reading and listening to podcasts. It's like you ask, how the heck do you do that as a young entrepreneur? First time that he's doing that, no experience. How can you, first of all, how can you build a company? And after you build that company, start building it, how can you raise the money? So I kind of looked at the ecosystem, and it says it's super easy if you look at it that way. You have multiple phases you need to move as an entrepreneur, and you don't need to know at the beginning what is going to be the end result. But you know that the first thing that you need is pre-seed. This is what my trajectory. You need pre-seed. In order to do pre-seed, you need to prove something very simple, that you can find a solution to a small problem that people are willing to pay money in order for it to be solved. That's it. So we took each one some dollars from our pockets, our own pockets, some friends and family, put it in a bank account, opened a company, and started working. Build a very, very, very light MVP, minimal viable product. And the idea was to get 10 customers. We wanted to engage with money because you need to understand what people are willing to pay for, because we did a business-to-business software. It's not like a B2C, let's start Facebook or Twitter. You don't need real money. You just need people to like your software. So we wanted to get some money, and it was funny because it was in Justin's living room. It was a server, software as a service, software in Justin's living room. And every time his wife wanted to vacuum the carpet, she just unplugged it. So think about 5 organizations sending me angry text messages yelling at us. Our business depends on you. What are you doing? You're killing us. Get proper servers. I used that message. I got $320,000 for an investor. We said, look how critical we are for those businesses. So that was the first phase. So now we said, okay, we knew how to get few customers. We want to show that, first of all, it's a global problem and not only a local one that we found in Israel, a few customers. And the second one is that we can get those customers, get them to pay. So we did not take any paycheck from Lydico. We kept on working like bootstrapped from entrepreneur, the founders wise, and we got 3 employees to the company. Built the platform a bit more in regard to development and made it a bit more scalable, and got to a few $100,000 annual recurring revenue. This is when we wanted to get to the big guys. We proved that we can get a good product to market and generate revenue. Now we need to prove that we can build a company. And usually that happens in the seed stage. So went to investors, did the right pitch, showed them the team, showed them what we're willing to build, and got $6 million of funding from 2 VCs. That was, we got the 300 at mid-17, it's like June. We got 2.2, it was a 2-step seed. It was 2.2 in January 18, and then 3.5 at May 2018. And now we're in the middle of a new funding round because we're growing super fast. So we, at least we think, we built a company. We have 40 employees. We have the best executive team, I think, in the Israeli market, facing US facing. It's like in every position we have the best person in the market. Very exciting company, very exciting people. It's very fun. Nobody quit Lytico for the last 2.5 years. Nobody said, I'm out. So it's very exciting to see that people love to come to work, and we think it's because of us. It's like we're nuts and we are creating that fan atmosphere, and everybody likes coming to work because it's a great place to work at. Everybody are learning, and you don't have any time to learn. It's like you get into Lytico as an employee, and within 2 days you're 150% booked with work. You don't have time to breathe. I think that covers it where we are.
Yeah, I want to work for you as well.
No chance. Great stuff.
What are the next moves?
Next moves. So, I learned as an entrepreneur in the last 5 years, I think, almost 5 years. I can't anticipate more than half a year forward, but I can say that first of all, it looks great product-wise. It looks great market fit-wise. We have market fit in two very large industries. The total addressable market, I think we're playing in a $60 billion market, which is hectic. We have, I think, we have the best solution in the market on the planet for the problem that we are going to solve. So that's a great spot to be at. And now it's every round we need to grow very fast. So it's not. Right now it's execution. So we went through the let's build the business, let's understand the customer base, let's understand the customer's interface. Okay, we understood, we know how to sell, we managed to sell. Now we need to expand marketing sales-wise and to expand the tech team in order to support that rapid growth. So basically growth around, we try almost got a third of it, but within a few days, which is amazing. Trying to close the 12 million one. We're trying to double the round every time. I think every 18 months, although we kind of double it every 6 months. But as long as we grow and we grow successfully and the KPIs are okay and the metrics are okay, we have no problem bringing money in. We don't. When you grow well, you don't care about dilution, that you have less percentage in the company because the company valuation goes up and up in every round. So it's cool. And in every round, you have a decision to make. Do you go for sale? Do you sell the company or try to sell the company? Or do you build an amazing company? And that's great, a very, very big dilemma in every point. Right now we chose to keep on building an awesome company, opening a US office, whatever we need in the next one in order to have US presence, and to keep on having fun. It's so seriously 20 hours of work a day, but so much fun. Innovation and everything we bring to market, people are dazzled. It's like we build a marketing video for first responses to Litico. You have a demo over the phone with a customer in the US, and you show them and say, "Oh my God, how much money did you raise?" It's like that's the question the customers ask. How much money? When did you build that? How did you do that? That's amazing. That's awesome, and they just want to join the service, and it's so much fun. And now we want to show the world how fun it is for our customers, our employees, etc. So.
That's awesome. Seriously, I get chills. Seriously, let's take a bird view for a second. All right, what do you think made you a success story, actually, personally and Litico wise?
First of all, it's not me. It's the team. It's all about the.
Don't be modest.
No, I am modest because it's so not me. It's like I'm maybe the glue. I may be leading this thing, but it's seriously. The idea is that. First of all, if I look at myself as a person, my best value to this conversation is the fact that I'm very, very good with people. I can bring my vision in a very good way in front of people, and the idea about building a company is taking a group of people, putting them in one building together for a joint cause, a joint vision with a joint mission, and deploy that mission and be able to actually get those things done and execute them well. In a VC-funded world, you need to do it well. So that's from one end. So I know how to bring the people together. I know how to create that vision and mission, and using that capability and the fact that me personally, I am able to speak with the developer on the development, with the sales guy on the quota and on the pitch, and with the marketing guy on the campaign. And when I'm saying the marketing guys, it's good friends of mine in all over the places, and that's kind of the ability. To take this thing forward with deep understanding of every part of the organization. And again, what makes Litico a great success story, it's the people in each and every one of the perspectives, and the way we built it as a company. And thunders are
that means you're right.
Yeah, it was scary. That's, I think, covers it.
Now, looking back, because I know that most of the guys who are listening to you right now are current students in Novus, right, doing the program right now. So let's ask it in two ways. First of all, what did Novus bring to you that helps you nowadays? And also, what tip do you have to provide to those guys who are actually looking to you as an inspiration?
So many tips, but I'll start with Novus, and I'll say it again and I'll repeat that. And Novus got us to where we are. Litico did not exist without Novus. First of all, I would not come to this college without the Novus entrepreneurship. I came because of that. I was able to join any university I wanted, from Tel Aviv to Ben Gurion to Technion to everything, but was something about our meeting here and the understanding of this way, and I really took it seriously and joined this place just because of Novus, because I knew that was a great, when you're so young. And when I say young, I don't mean young in the age, because the age doesn't really matter, but young in experience in entrepreneurship. You don't really know, as an employee in a company, a regular employee, and you're working through your career, you don't take your head up and look at what are the opportunities in front of you. And the idea is that I learned here that with those two hands and this mind, you can do anything. And this mouth, you need. That's the most important part at half of the part in entrepreneurship. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that there was something really, really awesome about that we can add people. I don't know how it is right now, from outside to the program. So it's still like that. So we said, okay, we can do the presentation and the pitch day, and let's show everybody that we are very good at building presentations, or we can build a company for day one. And this is what we did. We were 3 people here at Novus. We added 2 founders, technologically crazy guys. And we built a company from day one, and Novus enabled that. From a level of white knights over here building the software, we have photos of that from 5 years ago. Building, using the facilities, staying up all night, building the software, building the presentation, building the website. We came up with a real company and paying customers by the time we finished Novus, which was amazing. That was one. Second, we had an amazing mentor. It was Dror Pokart back then, that came from the exact industry, that knew the business, knew the KPIs, did amazing introductions, got me in front of the biggest CEOs in the market that are working in our space, getting advice, which we used, implemented, and those were part of those small time events that actually got us to where we got, and it all started over here. So, and a few more tips, if I can say a tip. First one is you're building a company. Think about it as building a company. We're not building a technology. We're not developing anything. We're building a company. And in building a company, we need to start and look firsthand on the business, because a company needs to bring money home. So the first thing, you need to focus on building a business. And building a business meaning you get your MVP out, find a small, it depends. I'll start backward. It's like the word, there are 2 measures that you need to take a look at, I think, as a new entrepreneur. First of all, there's execution risk or complexity, and there's market risk and complexity. So I'll explain. Uber, very high execution risk. It's very complex to build a business like Uber. You need millions of taxi drivers, and you need millions of branches, and you need agreements, and you need compliance, and you need so much stuff in order just to build the base of the company. So as a young entrepreneur, I think you should avoid those type of complex businesses. And there's there's the market risk, we can say. I'll give an example. To build Facebook is very simple. It's not that hard software-wise. It took them, I think, a few months, and they got Facebook up. The high risk is in the market. Will people like what we built? We can spend 6, 7, 8 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and nobody likes our software, because nobody should buy it. People need to use it. So it's kind of need to do the balance between the risk of the complexity of building the business and the complexity of the market, somewhere in between. I have trillion of examples to small software with low market risk and low execution risks. First of all, find something in between, especially for a first-time entrepreneur. I think my second one, I will go, when I get to my next company, I will go for the high execution complexity, because you already know how to get the team together. You know how to hire fast. You know how not to hit bad hires, because it's hard to let someone go, and you lose so much time when letting someone go. So it's for a second time, for a multi-time entrepreneur, we can say. On a young entrepreneurship, I would take a small problem, do it very well, and try to get money from it as fast as possible, in order to understand if there is real value to the software. If it's software, I don't know. I'm in the software as a service business, so this is only my thoughts, but there are lots of other businesses. I remember in our class there was somebody building a glove to pick up oranges. Yeah, in a fast and efficient way. I'm not in the orange. I like oranges, but that's as much as I go there. Additional ones. Try to really build the business. If you're here in Davos and you're learning entrepreneurship, take it to the next step. Try to actually build a company. Try to actually get product into the market. Try to actually give value to people, and try to get just as much money as you need to move to the next step. People are writing 2 lines of code is trying to raise $5 million. I saw that. It's unless you already built 5 companies and they know that from these 2 lines of codes you can build a $50 billion company, that's okay. But if you want to get money, be humble, develop something very small, get a small amount of money, show traction, get some revenues, and start growing exponentially, but in the right order.
I'd like to take some questions from the audience.
So now you are managing the company from here, from Israel or from the US?
From Israel. All the employees are in Israel, and we're selling to the US market. From one end it's hard, but there are so many Americans here in Israel, did Aliyah, came to live in Israel, so we have amazing assets in Israel that can be used to work with the US market. The hours are kind of nuts, but the days are okay because we work Monday to Thursday in the sales marketing part, and they work from 2 p.m. till midnight, and the cost for sales in the US is twice more than in Israel. And the problem in Israel that there are enough assets, but not too many of them, because if you have this amount of salespeople that knows how salespeople in Israel, you have those much salespeople that know English, those much salespeople that know how to sell software as a service in English over the phone. So it's kind of limiting. So we guess that within a few months from now, we need to open our first office in the US, probably go to the East Coast, like New York or something like that, to establish a sales and customer support department, because we already have customers at the West Coast, like San Francisco, Los Angeles customers. And you get a call that I have something wrong at 3 a.m., you can get 1 to 50, but on the 51 you break. So we must get some presence over there. So as part of the next funding round, we're going to open a US office.
And there is no demand from your VCs to be there actually, because you're not selling nothing to Israel, as I understand.
First of all, we sell to EMEA. It depends who the VC is. We have one of our VCs is European, so they really love the European market. It looks like that. Demand to go to the US. The demand is to get the highest revenue at the lowest time with the lowest costs in the highest quality on target every quarter. If I can get it done from Israel, cool. If you can get it done only from the US, it's also cool. But you need to see what's the best thing to do for your business. And with all due respect to the VCs, they don't run our business. They provide the money for the growth. So if we can do what we say we can do, and we can prove and show that we can do that, we don't need to... they will not ask us to move to the US.
I have a lot of questions, but I will give my friends some time with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great.
So, talking about success is amazing and very inspiring, but can you tell us what is the biggest mistake you did and what would you do differently along the road?
Wow. Biggest mistakes? I made 1 trillion of them.
Give us the biggest one, only one.
biggest is hard because if there was a biggest mistake, we wouldn't be sitting right here. So there were lots of mistakes. Mistakes in hiring sales people, mistakes that we spent months chasing an industry that we can't sell a single dollar to, although it seems very okay. We had insurance, for example, in Israel, in very small businesses, like small insurance agencies that were over here at Israel, which was a huge success, going and spending 3 months in the US market over the phone, the same exact sales process, same exact product, zero fit for the insurance. And what we did is we changed the iterations of trying to learn from our sales processes and from our development processes, and not waiting every month to measure, but reduced it to daily metrics. And when you're doing daily metrics, you can understand that there's a trend in a specific industry you say that after 6 measures, you can identify a trend. So we took those measures, and now we learn a lot faster. So those was kind of mistakes that we did. We threw three quarters of our code to the trash. It's not in the trash, it's in the safe. But we developed so much stuff that nobody would buy. Nobody would buy because we developed it before we spoke with customers. Because this is the way it should be done. We were in love. You should not be in love with your software. You should be in love with the problem that you're solving and the way that you solve it. And you should be very laser focused because we're a startup. We have limited resources in dev. We have limited resources in sales. We need to be super efficient. And for that, you need to be very laser focused. It was lots of small mistakes along the time. And us being smart enough and fast enough to catch those mistakes and iterate in order to make sure that we get on the path to success every time and not just drift away to the wilderness.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. Okay.
From your perspective, when is the right time for the founders to add someone else, to start recruiting another members?
It depends who are the founders. For example, we had a very, we can say, whole team. We had 2 developers. We had myself in marketing and sales, and we had another founder that did compliance and operations and all the bureaucracy stuff. It's like a super guy. So we didn't
all from the beginning?
All from the beginning, 4 founders. You don't have time to waste. That was our approach, but think about it. 2 founders have 50% each, 4 founders have 25%, but the chance of a 4-founder team or a 3-founder, I think that the best number, the magic number is 3. Yeah. This is what I heard. That's what I tell. Yeah, I heard. We are 4, and it was a good number. Maybe we could do with 3 because we had 2 developers and we can have only 1. But I wouldn't... I don't regret on any single person that I worked with from the moment we started. But I think that when you need the resource and you don't have it or you don't have enough time, it's time to get other people onboarded. And if you have the money. Because when you're starting to get employees, the most expensive thing in a company is the employees. So you need to be very cautious. But you need to get people, because if you try to do everything by yourself, unless you're a Superman, it will be very hard.
Hi, my name is Anna.
Hi, Anna.
And I'm also have establishing startup in the mentoring industry, and I want to ask you about the mentor, your mentor. How did you find him, and how he contribute to establish your startup?
Oh, I will do something. A mentor. I don't know if a mentoring is the right word, but because the mentor that we got at Novus, we got from Novus. They brought like 15 mentors for 15 teams, and there was a fight. We won the fight on draw. Other people won the fight for Inon, and each one got their own fight. Eventually, they chose us, and not we chose them. But as part of, let's say in the first 6 months of Lidico, I knew that I know very little about how to build what I'm trying to build. So we got what we call the advisory board. In that advisory board, I looked and said, okay, I need people that did all the mistakes, that have all the scratches that already passed away, and that can help us move forward and not do the same mistakes that they did. So we got I did research. I said, I want the best one in SaaS sales and marketing. So I kind of hunted the president of WalkMe. I don't know if you know the company, an amazing startup in Israel. So Rafi is one of the people in our advisory board. And then we said for Justin, the dev, we need the best CTO in the market. So we chased Eran Vanunu from LivePerson. He was the CTO of LivePerson. They made like a zillion mistakes along the way. And we kind of avoided 2 billion of those zillion because of speaking with him. So he's in the advisory board. And then we said we need somebody to help us build a business plan, prepare for recruiting, raising money. So we got a person from M&A, Ruby, which is another person in our advisory board. And the last person we said, okay, we want market trends and a person that really knows our industry and has experience with building products for various verticals in the customer experience industry. So we got Eran Schiff from VP Product Management at Nice Systems. So we built a team of 4 surrounding us with a monthly meeting. They got equity in return, of course, and we got lots of services and knowledge that we would make a lot of mistakes if we did not have those guys in. So it's worth the equity. It's worth also money because we're paying outside advisors, paying money for those services, but there's nothing like getting them to feel like part of the company. So I think for advisory, you need to look at the way your business should be built and find specific people in each and every one of the locations that can provide that unique value in a place that is very close to what you're doing. And this way, you can ask the tough questions to people that already answer them 50 times.
Like mentors become part of your advisory board?
I did not tell them I want you to mentor me. I told them I want you to join my advisory board so you can give me the best advice you can the moment I need it the most.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, great.
Hi, my name is Eliron.
Hi, Eliron.
My question is, how much competition do you have, your company, in this particular field? And also, if the field might be big enough that together with the competition, everyone will have a cut?
Yes. First of all, we can say that the total addressable market is in what we created, because there was no solution like ours before we established it. Now there are a few ones out there. So it was kind of, we can call it a blue ocean. Right now we have a few competitors. We have one in the US at the Valley. We have one in the UK, and we have one in Israel. And we never encountered any one of them in any business opportunity. So it means that we know that there are buildings, at least saying what we're saying marketing-wise. We actually even got a glimpse of their product, because a good business look at their competition very, very tightly to see what they can do and what they can't. So we have a comparison to know that if we encounter them, what can we do? But basically, as a state of mind, we do not look at our competition too much. We don't let our competition guide us to where we want to go, but we decide where this industry, and we want to lead that category. So we actually set the rules and how the best practices need to look and where to go. And they will need either to follow or to go to a different path. Up until now, we're succeeding in setting the stage at how this thing looks, but most of the competition is startups. It's like a new edge technology, we can say quadrant that is created right now.
Hi, I'm Ron.
Ron.
And which stage you ask for the advisor board? Which stage to founding money or before?
Actually, I think that 3 board members joined before we got the first dollar in the company. advisory board. Not really. They're not in the director. They're not directors in the company, but they're only advisory board. And one of them after we raised the first round, just because we were so small that he wouldn't pay attention, so we didn't. One of them, I won't say exactly which one, but you need to bring some impact in order to say, look, we are here and we need your help and we want you to join, because you can imagine these are very, very busy people. So even to get a few hours of their time and a few phone calls every month, it's super challenging. It's like the fact that I'm sitting over here, it was very challenging. So think about them to get into advisory board meetings once a month or twice a month. It's very hard. It answers your question? Cool.
My name is Danielle.
Hi, Danielle.
How much did the product change and why? Along the way, since you were here in Novus.
Wow, you can believe it. When we were here in Novus, the product was much different. We thought that we are going to build a product that takes first of all 70 developers to build. It will take 5 years to get there, and nobody wants to buy it. Now, maybe in the future, but every pitch that we did, they say, "Oh, that's amazing! This is exactly how the future will look like." But we have it now, the future. So it was that futuristic back then. And then what we did is, first of all, like I said, we needed to be laser focused. So we threw away most of the product and stayed with only one part of it. And that was only the beginning. And in regards to how the products, think about it, 8 developers, building it for 2 years. The direction was the same. Again, I think there is a thing saying about one pivot is basically the magic number as well. So we did one pivot and we pivoted to that. And then we just focused and added more capabilities on top of the same concept without really changing the product, but added a lot of features. So it changes every month, but not drastically changing, but just adding more functionality. Okay?
What? More? No?
That was easy.
Okay, so thank you so much for coming. I'm proud to have you as my friend. It was inspiring.
Thanks.
And thanks to everybody for showing up. We'll see you in our next event. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.